Hi, ladies. How are
Hi,
you?
Teri. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear
Can you
you.
just say your name for me, please?
Teri Ijeoma.
You look like you're
Ijeoma.
18. How old are you, my dear?
35.
Oh my
35.
I
goodness.
love that you
Okay.
think I'm
You
18
do.
though.
You look like
That's
you're 18.
great.
I want to know what the origin of your last name is. Do you know? It's rare.
Yes, I'm Nigerian, and so that means a good
Ah,
journey.
okay, Nigerian. Okay, I thought it was probably somewhere in Africa. I thought it was African. Did your parents come here from Nigeria, or are you second or
Y- Yes,
generation?
I'm first generation.
First
My dad
generation?
is from Nigeria, and my mom's from here.
Oh wow, interesting, interesting. Okay, well, I hope I don't butcher your name. It's Ijeoma?
Yep, you're right. That's it.
Ijeoma. Okay, perfect, perfect. And what city are you in? You're in Austin, Texas right now.
Actually, I'm in Dallas, but
You're in
we'll go
Dallas,
with it.
Texas?
Yes.
Okay. Michael, she's in Dallas. Can you check the, thank you. No, we're going to make sure we say where you are. Dallas, Texas. I used to live in Irving, Texas.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, we're all at home in lockdown.
Everything's closed in Dallas. The Galleria Mall is closed? Oh no.
It should be. I haven't even visited it.
Welcome back, everyone. Our guest for today is like many of our stories. She's mild-mannered. She was an employee. She went into a toxic work environment, seeking out paycheck to paycheck, and then she decided she was not going to do that anymore.
However, where most stories end, her story is simply just beginning.
That's right. She eventually set out to find another way to make money that didn't leave her feeling burned out. And her mission was a success. Please join us in welcoming our new friend to the show, investment expert Teri Ijeoma. Teri, how are you? Coming to us from Dallas, Texas.
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me, Laverne and Jane. I appreciate this.
Well, we have so many questions for you, but of course we have to ask you. I mean, look at when we're talking to you in the middle of this huge financial crisis, unprecedented in this country. What can people do to survive? It's a big question, but where do you even begin to figure this out?
Well, so there's actually some light in the end of the tunnel. So we have come down 32% from our all-time highs a few weeks ago, which is crazy to imagine that just a few weeks ago we were at all-time highs in the stock market. And we have come down, and this is what they call recession levels. When we've come down at least 20%, then they assume that it's a recession and that, well, going towards a recession and it's a bear market. The good thing is that we have some great companies that have come down into really low prices. And also, there's also a good thing that you can make money when the stock market comes down. So for traders, this is actually a good time.
Can I ask you a question, Terry? What do you do about seniors and where we are, those of us that have invested and we're looking at our retirement accounts go from here and you see a 35% drop? Because I saw that happen yesterday. And that was a little scary to me.
Yes. Yes, I will say for seniors and people getting close to retirement, this can be extremely scary because you did see a huge cut in your account. And a couple things of advice I can give is if you don't want to see your account go down any lower, then you may want to call into your 401k and just ask them to move some of it to cash. So instead of it still being in whatever allocation, whether that's a ETF or maybe some type of like Vanguard account, ask them, hey, I want to make sure that 50% of this is in cash. But I will say we've gotten to such low levels right now, just pause, because I do have a feeling we'll be going back up. And I'm a technical analysis trader. So looking at the charts, we're down to places where we haven't been since 2016.
Wow.
And yeah, the charts say that we should see a turnaround pretty soon. So if you can, go ahead.
No. Are you telling us that we just should sit tight and not have any kind of anxiety about this, but sit tight and just see what happens?
Yes, if you can, we've already come down so much that now is the time to actually wait and see if we can turn back around. It may come down a little bit more. I have seen in the chart that there are some places where this could keep going down for a little while, but they're so low now, this would not be the right time to just take your money out because we will see it turn back around.
But what about things like the airline industry? I mean, companies like Delta and United and all these airlines, I mean, their stocks are probably rock bottom right now, but would you really want to invest in that? Because, I mean, how would they ever recover?
Well, great question. That actually is the difference between a long-term investor and a short-term investor. If you're a long-term investor, like someone that is thinking about buy and hold and you have 10 to 20 years, then airlines stocks actually may look good to you right now. American Airlines was like $10 today. We haven't seen that in years.
Wow.
Yes, many of like Boeing. Boeing is an excellent company. There's only two companies in the world that make planes, and Boeing stock is so low. Like it's lower than it's been in years. So there are some great opportunities in the travel industry, but I would say that's for a long-term investor. If you're a short-term investor, I want you to look at companies that have nothing to do with the coronavirus. So look at maybe Adobe. Adobe has software on computers that has nothing to do with corona. You will still need Adobe and PDFs to look at different documents, but their stock came down with the rest of the market. So I want you to look at some more healthy companies that have come down in price. That's where I want you to go if you're looking at making more active income in the next year or two.
How are tech stocks doing?
So actually, they're not down as much as they could be. So for example, let's think about Amazon. Amazon was at $2,000 maybe a month or two ago. Then it had earnings and went up to $2,200, and now it's come back down. And today it ended at like $1,900. So honestly, it's not down that much. The maximum that it came down was to July of last year, to July of 2019. The ones that I've seen that are really getting hit went down to maybe their prices from December of 2018. So tech stocks are actually faring really well, and that's just a good company you're getting at a discount.
You know, I had a friend or a colleague rather that went to the bank and took $5,000. This is a true story. $5,000 out of his account so that he could have cash around the house because of his fears of what was going on. Is that realistic?
I did that like 2 days ago.
Wow.
For real. I get cash is king. Yeah. Oh yeah. I keep cash because if the system crashes.
But I mean, is that realistic? Is that something that we need to be even concerned about?
So my honest answer is I can see why you would feel that way, because in 2008 when the banks crashed, we had a liquidity problem and it was hard to get your cash. So I could see why someone would feel that way. However, the Fed just put trillions of dollars into our banks to make sure that that doesn't happen again. So according to the Feds, we should have liquidity and you shouldn't have any problems with your banks. If that changes in the near future, then we can see. But for right now, I think you'll be okay. Your bank account should be fine.
So we don't have to rush out to the banks, because I wanted to say to him, what he was doing was creating more anxiety for the people in my office. And he came in and he says, "Do you understand what the world is coming to?" Now this is a psychologist, and I thought, well, let's ask a specialist. So I'm so glad that you're here today, because you can give us some insight as to how we need to manage this as we navigate this. So because again, for a lot of us, this is very new territory. Although some of us back in 2008 went through this. And we knew at that point to just ride the curve. For right now, though, these numbers are so low, it's pretty scary.
Right. And I will say, when you see all these announcements from the Federal Reserve, their goal is to make sure that the banks still work. So like I said, I can understand the fear, but I think that's one that you can kind of let go of. Our money should still be in our accounts, and you don't have to go pull it out and put it under your mattress. However, I will say,
Teri, you're so young, you don't have to do that. But I've been through a lot of ups and downs, and it's always better to play it safe than sorry.
I get it. And I'm older than I look.
I'm much older than you, though.
But I will say right now, the best way to get involved in the stock market, I do think you should start getting educated. So take some courses. Also, I want you to open a brokerage account and start putting cash into the account. Because the stock prices are so low, I want you to be ready to get in when the market turns back around. And the worst thing is to have your cash sitting on the sideline, the stocks start rising, and you're too late. Like you missed it. So this is a good time, though, to start building up your cash reserve so that you can get involved.
That is great advice, and actually we have to have you back on again, because a lot of people don't understand how the stock market works, and now we're hearing so much about it. I have a background in economics as well, so I do follow it, but a lot of people don't. So that's really good advice, to make sure you take some courses, understand how it works, because that's how the world works based on the financial system. So
and I think what you have done for me is to give me a little bit more peace of mind. And again, I think that having been through it also twice, most of the financial advisors always pretty much gave us the same advice, and that was just to hold tight, that it'll come back. And that's if you get the time to allow it to come back. And so thank you so much for giving us this information. And it was a good lesson for all of us.
You're welcome. And do know that you can make money either direction. So just learn how to do it, because this is a great time to be an investor.
I think so too. Yeah, if you can buy low, that's what they say, right? Buy low, sell high.
Yes, and make money on the way down too.
All right, Teri, thank you so much.